think the first one that comes to mind is terrorist.
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 Anything related to Osama.
Beautiful, unique.
Muslims, Islamists.
Muslims. Raghead.
Raghead.
Ragheads, towel heads. Hijab.
A scarf.
Headscarf.
Veil, headscarf, head covering.
I'd also say like head wrap.
Also, like within different cultures, there's different styles of wearing it. So there's like the niqab, the burqa.
In Pakistan, I would call it dupatta.
A hijabi is literally just someone who wears hijab.
Someone who practices the modesty that comes with it.
No.
The Quran actually asked men to observe hijab before women, and women also wear hijab. And in a way, it represents modesty. And to me, I think people observe hijab in different ways.
All Muslim women do not wear it.
For who's allowed to see it would be like your uncle, I believe, your father, your brothers. Technically not supposed to be your cousins. But yeah, just like usually like men that you're really close to, any females can see your hair.
From my perspective, I don't know if it's women that choose not to or choose to. Because I think in our society, or at least in America or Western culture, we choose to put it on because it's not expected for us to put it on. But I guess in other parts of the world, there are people who choose not to.
They define the hijab differently, and it's also like a personal relationship to God.
It is a choice. It's completely my choice to wear the hijab.
I mean, there could be varying answers in terms of like whether Islamically you believe whether it's a choice or not. Personally, I believe it's a choice because I made the decision, and I feel like it's not compulsory for everyone, but that's just me.
I think the hijab is a personal choice every single person must make for themselves.
I started wearing it because I just felt like it was the next step for me in my religious path and like getting closer to my faith.
Yeah, so that's a good question. I'm not like 100% sure yet, but like Allah is what I say, like I wear it for God.
I think I can think of several reasons as to why I wear it, but ultimately it comes down to my faith and what I see as a requirement of my faith, and it's about my relation with God. Just to have people like respect me for like who I am rather than just like what I'm wearing. And I think like another big thing for me is like we're surrounded by like a very consumerist society, right? And I think if I didn't wear it and like didn't consciously think of like, okay, I gotta like stay modest, stay humble, I think like I would probably get like swept up in this whole like, okay, I have to look pretty, like I have to like wear makeup, fix my hair and everything. And this is a way of sort of grounding me.
I was in high school when I had started thinking about it. I was very religious, and I waited till after high school just to, I lived in a quite racist area, so I just wanted to, avoid any things like that. So I started the Ramadan after high school, and I just felt like it was the next step for me. And I knew going into college I needed something to ground me and keep me close to my faith. When I told my parents, my mom was very surprised. She was like, I did not expect this from you. She was kind of scared, which is understandable, but I said I had been thinking about it for a while, and I believe in my own strength in, facing any adversity that comes with it. When I told my dad, he was definitely very surprised, but he was really happy. I think my personality was just so different from what people expect a hijabi to be.
So I went through those like spiritual highs, when you just like watch all these like videos, like these YouTube videos, and then I'm like, wow, like I'm inspired to wear hijab, and like, yeah. And so that was like the time around my freshman year of high school. It was actually like a month in, and so all of my friends who knew me since kindergarten have never seen me wear a hijab like at all. And so I put it on, and people were like so shocked, and some guy was like, oh, haha, you're a terrorist. And I'm like, excuse me? The crazy thing is I literally just woke up one day and then just like put it on. Like I did not think about it for like months. I didn't like wear it on and off, like nothing like that. I went from never wearing it except for being in a masjid, like a mosque, and then just wearing it one day and then just sticking with it.
I actually started wearing it when I was 12, so I was pretty young. And I just grew up seeing like all the women I looked up to wearing it, my family members, a lot of my teachers when I went to Islamic school, family friends, like all the women who I surrounded myself wore it, and I wanted to be like those women, so I chose to wear it. And I was really, like, I love my religion, and so I saw it as a part of my religion, so I wore it when I was pretty young. The first time I put it on, I was in Syria. So all my family and friends supported me there, and it wasn't like too dramatic, but then, because it was the summer. And then I came back to the States and I was absolutely terrified. And I remember we had like an ice cream social thing right before like classes started and everything. And I went to like a white majority high school. And so I was pretty terrified, and I went, and some people asked questions, and no one really attacked me. People were mostly just like, what is that? Like, why are you wearing it? And I gave them answers.
They didn't have any role in my decision because I kind of just sprung it on them. I didn't even tell them I had been thinking about it. But my mom would catch me sometimes, like watching tutorials or like trying it on before.
And my parents were like really surprised. They were like, wait, what? She's wearing hijab today. And then they just like rolled with it. I rolled with it, and then that was it.
I remember like once when I was like even younger than 12, I was like, Mom, I want to start wearing it. All my friends are starting to wear it. And she was like, okay, just like wait a little longer. We waited a little bit, and she's like, you know what, like you can start wearing it. And so I started wearing it.
It's not an outward expression, it's more for me. And it's a way for me to remind myself that, you know, I may be different, but I'm Muslim, and wherever I am, that's just a reminder.
In a way, it's representing your religious expression. I think even like if I died tomorrow and I find out Islam is not the true path and that like religion doesn't exist, etc., I think it's really the fact that like I go out every single day and I show people like I'm a Muslim woman, and in a way I'm like respecting the woman that came before me.
Modesty and humility, mostly humility in the eyes of God. Like I said, in those moments where I'm like completely doubting myself and doubting why I wear it, I'm like, this is literally all because I believe in God.
I kind of do it based off of my outfit. So if I want to show like the neckline of something, then I'll wear a turban or something like that.
I wear a turban when I'm trying to look good, you know, gotta put on my hoops and stuff. So I'll wear a turban if I'm trying to look, I don't know, look at nighttime or something. I'm often lazy because I like look at all these hijabi fashionistas, and I'm like, dang, they look so good, but I'm like, I'm too lazy to do this. But like on days where like I'm trying to look nicer, I'll wear like, you know, brighter colors, not just like black or something, try to like make it look better.
Like you think like you can only wear hijab one way, when really there's so many different ways you can wear it. I'm usually really lazy and I wear it like the same way every day. It gives you a whole like creative mindset to sort of work around certain problems and like think around things like, how can I make this hijab friendly? And like now there's like this whole platform on Instagram of like hijab fashion, and I think that's really cool and really inspiring.
I would say like just looking in the mirror and then like sometimes I'll see my curly hair and I'm like, dang, you look so good, Reem. Somebody said, admire these curls. But then I'm like, you know, like I put the hijab on for a reason.
Obviously it's like getting stares from people like just in public spaces who aren't really necessarily familiar with hijab. Like I'm from Kansas. Kansas is a pretty homogenous group of people. And hijab isn't really common there, so I do get looks.
When I was interviewing for companies, I was really like, that was the most in my life that I've ever felt like insecure of being Muslim, because I thought that it might have been hurting me, because I'm like very like, you know, outwardly like outgoing and like just like, you know, out there. And so I thought like during an interview, because they always want charismatic people, I used to get like nervous, you know. And so I thought that my hijab was contributing to the idea that they thought I was more so reserved and shy, and I'm like, I'm not shy at all, but they probably think this because they have a misconception that Muslim women are shy, reserved, oppressed, etc.
Yes, I do.
I think every girl who wears hijab has thought about it at least once.
It's especially when you're in a college environment where everybody's, you know, wearing different things and you're like, wow, this kind of restricts me in what I can wear, it comes across my mind a lot. And it's like, you know, when you're putting on clothes and it's like, wow, I have to think about this and I have to think about what color it needs to be and things like that. But I realize like it's all very trivial, you know. I'm putting like dunya, like the world and materialism, over my deen and my religion. So that's what kind of keeps me towards it. And I know that, you know, if I were to ever take it off, that wouldn't be the proper intention.
There are moments where I'm like, oh my gosh, it would be so much easier if I just didn't wear the hijab. But I think ultimately it's not really about ease, it's about like in the long run what's beneficial to you, and I think in the long run it's helped me become a better person.
I would say, do I think about taking off? No, actually, only because I can't imagine like a life not wearing hijabs. Do I have days where I'm like, oh wow, like it would be really nice to like look really good? Not that hijab makes you look ugly, but you know, like to like show off some skin and stuff like that. Like yeah, I do have those tendencies, and I think a lot of people probably do. But at the same time, like, it's relationship for life, you know?
Common misconceptions, oh my gosh, first one is like we can't do anything, like we can't play sports, like we're so limited in everything, but like I played tennis in high school, like I can do anything I want. I'm literally just wearing a scarf on my head, so it doesn't like change anything.
People don't really know how to approach you, or they think that like you don't want to talk to them in some sort simply because you are a hijabi and like you don't talk to men or something, or like it's disrespectful to shake your hand. Another misconception I hate so much is like hijabis literally represent Islam, you know, because it's like everything you do, like you show one little bit of skin or something and people are like, oh, this, like, you need to stop representing Islam poorly, like, you have to understand you're out in the real world, like, showing this. But then, like, we're also held to such a high standard that's, like, really irritating, because, like, if you do one thing wrong, you're, like, marked by, like, ruining Islam simply because you're a hijabi. Ooh, ridiculous questions. Would your dad stone me if I, like, talk to you or something like that? Like if it's like a guy and he's like, oh yeah, like would your dad like stone me? I don't know, something really weird. Other ridiculous questions, do you shower with it on?
The showering one, everybody asks if you shower with it, and that doesn't make any sense.
Do you shower in that? Do you sleep in that? I once had a girl ask me, she saw like I was wearing like a pin in my hijab, okay? And she'd never seen me wear a pin in my hijab. She's like, do you like stick it into your scalp like when you put it in? And I'm like, no, that's not what we do at all.
Every time I go to a concert, it gets knocked off, because I'll wear it in a turban style, because it gets hot at concerts, so I'll wear that, and every time someone's arm just knocks it right off. I usually do panic. I mean, I can grab it before it falls off, but all my friends are always really supportive. They'll like shield me so I can get it and put it back on.
When I first started wearing it, it used to like slip off a lot. I used to wear like a two-piece sort of thing, so it was like an underpiece and like a piece on top of that, and it would literally just like fall off. I like panicked. I was like the 6th grader. I was like, oh my god, my hijab is fine. It was fine.
I would say their hijabis are all very different, and literally everyone's so different. So I feel like people are so surprised because they're like, oh, this person is really whatever you define as conservative, and then this person is like not so whatever you define as like not conservative, you know? And I think that there's like such a wide spectrum of hijabis. My friend calls herself a hijabi, you know, and she's like, yeah, like, you know, whatever, like she's living her best life.
Don't treat us any differently. Like we're literally just people. Like there's no reason for you to be weird or act weird around us. We're the same as anyone else.
I think that when you say hijab, you should not think of a specific personality type, or you shouldn't think of, you know, oh, this person wouldn't do this, or this person would do this, or things like that. You know, we're all different people, we just wear scarves, you know? And I mean, there are certain sets of expectations, but we're all human. I mean, we're not gonna meet every single one that comes with being a hijabi, but you know, we're not all the same people. We don't do all the same things. We're just as diverse and different as everybody else. We just wear scarves, which I guess adds another facet to our individuality.